Shocking truth, wife's affair, baby exposed by nurse. What happened at 3 a.m. after delivery? The clock's hands were frozen at 3, but chaos reigned in the dimly lit hospital room. The fluorescent bulbs flickered overhead as if they were alive, buzzing with secrets. Nurse Linda had only stepped away to grab an extra blanket, but what she stumbled upon made her heart race. There it was, a small, wriggling bundle, swaddled too snugly, and it wasn't just the newborn cries that made her skin prickle, it was the unmistakable scent of deceit that lingered in the air. Everyone assumed the baby was the couple's joy, a miracle delivered after all the heartache. But Nurse Linda noticed something odd. The father hovered nervously, a strange tension in his shoulders. His eyes darted around like a cornered animal, searching for escape. Why? Was it fear? Or guilt? She couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Her chest tightened as the whispers among the staff ignited suspicions. Then, as if scripted for drama, the door swung open. In rushed the husband, oblivious to the shadows clouding the room. He greeted his wife, but the warmth of his embrace felt rehearsed, too perfect. The way he clutched the baby, the flicker of uncertainty in his smile, it all screamed something wasn't right. The nurse held her breath, her instincts screamed at her to dig deeper. Could this child be the product of something far more sinister? Secrets hid behind hospital curtains, and the night was far from over. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As Nurse Linda bit her lip, her mind raced. Could the baby be a result of an affair? That same gut feeling twisted into panic as she prepared for what would come next. She caught a glimpse of a family photo laying on the counter. It showed a smiling couple, arms draped around each other. But the woman in the picture looked nothing like the woman in the hospital bed. Heart pounding, she turned back to the scene unfolding before her. Would this revelation shatter their fragile happiness? Suddenly, the baby's wails cut through the tension like glass breaking, sharp and unforgiving. But was it a cry for help or a warning to unravel the tangled web of lies? Nurse Linda couldn't look away. She needed to know. The truth was just out of reach, just like the fleeting shadows dancing at the doorway. What lay hidden in the folds of secrecy? What lay beneath the surface, waiting to resurface in the bright light of day? Nurse Linda swallowed hard, her heart racing faster than a ticking time bomb. The cries intensified, echoing off the sterile white walls as if they too sensed the brewing storm. She glanced at the parents, the look on their faces a puzzling mix of joy and confusion. Did they truly believe they were safe, that their secrets wouldn't be unveiled? The husband had taken a seat beside his wife, wrapping his arms around her shoulders. She leaned into him, but briefly, her gaze drifted towards Linda. There was a flicker of something, a moment of recognition, or perhaps fear. Linda plastered a smile on her face. Everything looks fine, just a little hungry. She took a step closer, her instincts urging her to dig deeper. What's the baby's name? Linda asked, her voice steady but probing. The mother paused, her lips pursed together as if summoning a name from the depths of her mind. We haven't decided yet, she stammered, casting a nervous glance at her husband, who shifted uncomfortably. Linda felt a chill run down her spine. It was common for parents to have names ready to go, a name that would bond them to their new child. This was different. Something dark hung in the air, thickening with every passing second. The husband caught Linda's watchful gaze and offered a forced smile that fooled no one. Even the baby sensed it, squirming as if screaming for freedom from the suffocating atmosphere. Could you take a look at this? Linda motioned towards the chart on the nearby countertop, feigning interest as she leaned closer. The chart was incomplete, missing information on the birth and delivery details, critical facts that should never be overlooked. "It's all fine," the husband said a bit too quickly, leaning forward to snatch the chart. But Linda's intuition buzzed louder. "I'd like to review it myself," she insisted, her tone bordering on firm. This check was routine, yet she sensed the threads of deception weaving tighter around them. As he reluctantly released the chart, Linda's fingers brushed it, searching for clues. The name section didn't add up, the familiar Dr.'s signature looked out of place, glaringly so against the typed details. In a flash, Linda began to connect the dots. Across the room, the baby's cries cut through her thoughts like a knife. Desperation washed through her as she noticed the husband's jaw tighten. He was protecting something. No, someone. With each breath, the room grew colder, tension crackled in the air around them. The mother's gaze flickered between her husband and the nurse, uncertainty creeping into her expression. "It's just been a long night, we're still figuring everything out," she said softly, but the pleading in her eyes revealed the cracks in their facade. Linda's mind raced ahead. An affair. A lie. She needed more, she couldn't just walk away. "Is there something you're not telling me?" she pressed, her voice softer but laced with urgency. The couple exchanged a glance, the air thickening with silence, digesting her words like poison. Who was this child really? Why were they so tangled in shadows? Just as the tension reached a breaking point, another nurse burst through the door, her expression frantic. "Linda, we need you in the NICU. There's been a complication." The moment shattered like glass, breaking the spell. Nurse Linda felt short of breath as she turned back, eyes fixed on the couple. "I'll be back," she promised, though she couldn't shake the dread creeping into her stomach. As she rushed from the room, one creeping thought consumed her mind: what if this complication had nothing to do with the baby's health, but with the secrets unraveling just within the walls of that room? What awaited her outside those sterile walls? The truth hung in the air, tantalizing yet terrifying, just out of reach. Nurse Linda barely took a breath as she dashed down the long corridor, her pulse pounding in her ears. The NICU was just ahead, voices filtering out like an urgent whisper from behind double doors. She pushed through, her mind still spinning from the weight of the parent's secret. The cries of the newborns, both desperate and innocent, were overshadowed by the unsettling reality that something more sinister was lurking just beyond her reach. The chaos in the NICU was palpable. Nurses scurried like clockwork, but there was a clear tension in the air. Linda located the head nurse, Jessica, her brow furrowed in a mix of worry and concentration. "Linda, you're here." "Thank God," Jessica said, pointing to a crib where a tiny infant lay connected to monitors, beeping rapidly. "We're losing her. There was a sudden drop in her oxygen levels, and we can't find a reason why." Linda's heart sank as she approached the crib. The baby, a girl, maybe just a few hours old, was struggling for breath, her tiny frame trembling against the soft cotton of the swaddling blanket. The stark white lights of the NICU seemed to amplify the severity of the situation. This was different from the usual rush. This felt like a race against time, a battle to save a life. "What's her name?" Linda asked, her voice steady, focusing on the baby as a soothing balm against the turmoil spinning in her mind. "She doesn't have one yet." The parents haven't decided. Jessica's response struck an eerie chord, like a bell tolling deep within Linda. "Get me the chart," Linda commanded, urgency coloring her tone. After reading the parents' incomplete file, she felt the dark thread of coincidence tightening around her. Jessica handed her the chart with hesitation. As Linda scanned it, she couldn't shake the feeling that the answers lay somewhere in the details. The mother's age, the gestational history, it all seemed so disjointed. Suddenly, a loud beep pierced the air, signaling another drop in the baby's vitals. Panic skated along Linda's skin like ice. "We need to intervene. Prepare the team." Hands moved quickly, equipment was set up, alarms muted. Amid the blur of frantic moves and urgent commands, Linda's mind drifted back to the couple in the delivery room. There was a secret, a tight-lipped fear simmering below the surface. Did the parents say anything unusual? Anything at all? Linda pressed, directing her questions to Jessica while keeping her eyes on the tiny angel in the crib. No, just that they were exhausted. But you know how that can be. Jessica shrugged, sweat beading on her brow. That's when it struck her a sudden flash of an idea that twisted her insides. What if this baby was indeed not who they claimed? What if the mother's obvious fear stemmed from something darker? Right, Linda snapped back into focus, we're going to stabilize her. Get me blood work from the parents, now. As the team moved, a shiver cascaded through the room along with the unsettling sensation of eyes on her. Were the parents close enough to overhear? Suddenly, the NICU felt too small, too filled with secrets. Linda. A voice echoed from the hallway. It was the obstetrician, Dr. Martinez, his expression grim. We need to talk about the parents. There is something you need to know, and it's urgent. Linda's throat constricted. Was it about the baby? About the couple? She turned slowly, dread clawing at her chest. What had she stumbled into? Follow me, he urged, his tone grave. You're not going to believe what I found out. As she followed him away from the NICU, a chilling question clung to her thoughts. Was this about a life being saved or a truth being uncovered? What awaited her on the other side of those doors? The answers seemed to melt away, shadows lurking in her peripheral vision. Dr. Martinez led Linda through the sterile hallway, his hurried steps echoing against the tile floor. The walls felt too close, the air thick, making it hard for her to breathe. Her mind raced with every step, her intuition prickled, warning her there was more to unravel. Is the baby going to be okay? Linda finally managed to ask, desperation creeping into her voice. Doctor. Martinez paused, fixing her with a serious glare that reflected the weight of the situation. We need to determine what is happening. The parents, they aren't who they say they are. Linda's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? Let us talk in here, he said, gesturing to a small consultation room. They entered, the door clicking shut behind them. Shadows pooled in the corners, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. First, I got a call from the hospital's security after I requested the parents' identification, he began, scratching the back of his head. There's a problem with their IDs. They were flagged. They're not registered under the names they gave. What? How is that even possible? She whispered, the gravity of his words punching her in the gut. They're using aliases, fake ones. The IDs don't match up with anything in the system, he replied, his voice low. I called for a background check. We might be dealing with something serious here. Linda's thoughts spiraled, the picture of the exhausted parents from earlier morphing into an unsettling mirage. But the baby, what if her life depends on finding out who they really are? Dr. Martinez nodded gravely. Exactly. And we need to act fast. He pulled out his phone, his fingers flying over the screen. I'm contacting Child Protective Services. We need to protect that child, regardless of her biological ties. Linda felt her chest tighten. And what about the parents? What if they show up again? The doctor shook his head. That's what I'm worried about. We need to keep them out of the NICU until we know more. If they have bad intentions, his voice trailed off, leaving a lingering unease that filled the small room. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by another medical alert from down the hall, followed by a nurse's frantic voice scrambling for control. Linda's heart raced again, time was slipping through their fingers like sand. What if I can talk to them? They might slip and let something reveal who they truly are. It's a gamble, Dr. Martinez warned, his brow furrowing. But you're right. We need to uncover the truth now, before it's too late. With a sudden rush of determination blending with fear, Linda narrowed her eyes. I'll do it. I'll confront them. But I need to know what to ask, what to look for. Dr. Martinez hesitated. Just observe. Listen for inconsistencies. And if you feel in danger at all, I know, she interrupted, her voice firm. I'll call for help. As she opened the door, the bright, sterile lights of the hospital greeted her again, the steady thrum of machines drowned out by the rush of adrenaline. She stepped back into the chaos, her thoughts already weaving through a tapestry of uncertainty. The parents were still hiding in the shadows, and every moment counted. Linda darted back to the NICU, her heart pounding like a war drum. But as she approached, she caught sight of the mother. She was pacing, her eyes darting around as if she were a deer caught in headlights. What is she really afraid of? Linda pondered, standing just beyond the threshold. Linda's breath caught in her throat as she noticed a glint of something metallic glimmering in the mother's hand. Was it a key? A hidden piece of evidence? The looming question echoed through her mind. What was the mother hiding? Before she could move, the mother spotted her, fear mixed with something more dangerous flashing through her eyes. Linda felt the weight of the moment, the danger pressing in like the walls of the tiny room she had just left. The mother's next move would change everything. The mother's gaze locked onto Linda, a flicker of panic coursing through the air like an electric shock. Time felt suspended. The metallic object in her hand shimmered, revealing the faintest edge of threat nestled between fear and desperation. Who are you? The mother demanded, each word tight and clipped, like a blade ready to cut. Linda straightened her spine, the urgency of the moment crystallizing her thoughts. I'm a nurse. Can I ask you a few questions about the baby? Why? The mother snapped, shifting her weight. What do you want to know? Something was off. Linda could almost taste the tension hanging between them. Is everything okay? You seem worried. Why wouldn't I be? My baby is in there. She gestured toward the NICU, her voice rising with every word. But beneath the surface anger, Linda caught a shadow of fear. I understand, Linda replied softly, keeping her tone calm. But the hospital needs to verify everything so we can ensure the baby's safety. I need to know, who do you really represent? Who are you? The mother hesitated, her lips pressed into a thin line. The glint of the metallic object caught Linda's eye again, sharper this time. After a beat, the mother forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Everything is fine. We just want our baby back. Isn't that what you want? Linda's heart raced as the mother stepped closer, her movements slow but deliberate. You don't want to get involved in this, nurse. It's bigger than you think. A chill ran down Linda's spine. What do you mean, bigger? What is going on here? Before the mother could answer, a commotion erupted behind them. A group of hospital staff sprinted down the corridor, shouting for calm amid chaos. Linda could feel the panic bubbling up, threatening to overtake her reason. Do you see? This isn't just about you. She pressed, searching for some vulnerability beneath the mother's fierce facade. The mother's expression flickered momentarily, showcasing doubt, but it was quickly masked by anger again. You just don't understand. She shouted, backing away. Leave us alone. Linda's mind raced. The baby's life dangled in the balance, and she could sense the walls closing in. Wait. Please, if there's anything. The mother turned on her heel, moving toward the exit, but not before Linda spotted it, a flicker of regret in her eyes. Was she feeling trapped? Or was there something else lurking beneath that surface? In that moment, an internal alarm rang loudly in Linda's mind. She had to act. Stop. She called out, her voice cutting through the whirlpool of confusion. What's really at stake here? If you walk out now, you could. But even as she spoke, the mother slipped through the doorway, vanishing into the corridor, her figure lost in a flurry of white coats and worried voices. All that remained was the metallic glimmer in the mother's hand. Linda darted after her. Dr. Martinez. She called, spotting him further down the hall. They're gone. Suddenly, a shout erupted from the other side of the NICU. A nurse stumbled back, eyes wide with terror. They're taking her. The baby is gone. Linda felt her stomach drop as panic spread through the room. They were missing a child. A decision had been made while they were distracted by the mother's cryptic behavior. Rushing forward, Linda's heart pummeled against her ribcage. "Where's Dr. Martinez?" she shouted over the chaos. But all her questions hung in the air, weighty and unanswered. The truth was unraveling too quickly. She had to uncover what the mother was hiding, and fast. But even as she scanned the room, she couldn't shake the feeling that danger was riding in on their coattails. The mother knew something, and she was not done running. As the alarm blared through the hospital, Linda wondered if she was already too late. The chase had begun, and the stakes were sky high. What allies would she find, and who could she trust? The greatest revelation was yet to come. Linda's heart raced as she pushed through the frantic crowd, the air thick with confusion and fear. Every voice around her blended into a distorted echo, the urgency pulling her forward like a current. She had to find answers. She had to find the baby. "Dr. Martinez!" she cried again, her voice cracking. She spotted him near the nurse's station, frantically jotting down notes. His brow was furrowed, and his expression was tight with worry. "Linda!" he called out, noticing her frantic energy. "What is going on?" "I heard the alarm. They took the baby." Panic surged through Linda like an electric shock. "The mother just ran off." "What do you mean, ran off?" He pushed past her, eyes scanning the vicinity. "Which way did she go?" "I don't know," she stammered. She had something in her hand. It looked metallic, dangerous. He turned, his expression darkening. "We might be dealing with something much more serious." If she had a weapon. His voice trailed off, the gravity of the situation hanging heavy. A nurse nearby overheard them, her hands trembling. "I saw her. She went out the emergency exit." The tension wrapped around them, thickening the air. "Call security," Dr. Martinez instructed, his voice firm and commanding as he moved toward the stairwell. "We need to lock down the building." Linda's feet followed instinctively, pounding against the sterile tiles, questions bursting in her mind. Where was the baby? What did the mother want? The metallic glint flashed in her memory, and she shook her head as if to clear it. She had to stay focused. As they reached the exit, a loud crash resonated from the parking lot. Linda froze, adrenaline surging through her. What was that? Dr. Martinez shot her a glance filled with determination. "We can't turn back now. We have to find out what is happening." They rushed outside, the cold air biting at their faces. The scene was chaotic. A woman, no, the mother, was struggling with an officer near the rear of a parked car. The officer's face was a mask of concern, holding the mother tightly as she fought against him, her eyes wild. "Stop! Let her go!" Linda shouted instinctively, stepping forward. "Are you crazy?" The officer shot back, his grip tightening. "We don't know what kind of danger we're dealing with." Dr. Martinez stayed behind her, but his eyes urged her to remain cautious. "Wait!" Linda called, waving her hands in a calming gesture. "Please! We need to help her." But before Linda could take another step, the mother suddenly broke free, darting toward the vehicle. In a desperate motion, she yanked open the back door. The sight that met Linda's eyes was unexpected. A baby seat, empty, a blanket crumpled on the side. "No! No!" The mother's voice cracked with a blend of desperation and fury. "Where is she? Where is my baby?" Tension hung thick. Linda felt the pit in her stomach twist tighter. If the baby was truly missing, that meant the danger wasn't over. Something had gone horribly wrong. "Please! Where is the baby?" the officer demanded, stepping closer, but the mother merely shook her head, her frantic movements more about anguish than clarity. Linda, torn between the chaos of emotions, felt a surge of compassion. "What is going on?" she pleaded, her voice softer now, easing the storm inside her. "We can help you, I promise." A flicker of hesitation crossed the mother's fierce features, as if she was caught between trust and fear. "No one can help. They took her." "Who? Who took your baby?" Dr. Martinez pressed, inching forward. "I can't tell you." Her voice was raw and desperate. "You won't believe me." Linda stepped toward her, heart racing, ready to listen. "Try us. We can't help if we don't know." And for a fleeting moment, it seemed like the mother was about to crack, the facade beginning to crumble in the face of her turmoil. But just then, from the nearby shadows, a figure emerged. Tall and dark, a smirk resting on his lips as he held up a small device in his hand. "Time's up. You've had your fun." The air shifted, cold and sharp, as Linda felt the weight of something sinister unfurl around them. "Who are you?" she demanded, an instinctual surge of protectiveness surging through her. But the figure only chuckled, eyes glinting with menace. "Let's just say, I have a vested interest in this little game." Panic shot through Linda. What had she stepped into? The stakes were no longer just about a missing baby. With dread pooling in her stomach, she realized they were all caught in a much larger, twisted web. And the truth still lay hidden, just waiting to tear them apart. What would this man reveal, and would they be ready to face the shocking truths that lay in wait? The man took a step closer, the device in his hand blinking ominously as he surveyed the chaotic scene. The eerie calm in his demeanor sent chills racing down Linda's spine. Dr. Martinez moved protectively in front of her, fists clenched, brows knitted together. "Get away from her," he shouted, but the man merely laughed, a cold sound that sliced through the tension like a knife. "You think you can protect her? This isn't a fairy tale, Doctor." His voice dripped with mockery, as if relishing the chaos unraveling around him. The officer took a step back, uncertainty flickering across his face, but Linda sensed a deep resolve in Dr. Martinez. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt, desperate to buy time. "What do I want?" He smiled, a predator enjoying a game. "I'm just the messenger. They need the baby, and you, my dear, are far too curious for your own good." Linda's heart sank as the words seeped into her mind. Who was they? And why did they need the baby? "How do you know the baby's missing?" the mother hissed, her tone desperate, fists clenched at her sides. There was anger now, mixed with fear. With every passing moment, Linda saw that the mother was unraveling. "Because it's all part of the show," the man answered, casually flicking the device. "The lights, the drama, it's all very entertaining, don't you think?" With a snap of his fingers, the device emitted a shrill beep, and Linda watched as everyone's faces turned toward him in unison. A sense of dread hung in the air, thickening with every tick of the second hand. "Stop playing games," the officer yelled, stepping forward defiantly. "Release her now, or I swear you'll do nothing." The man twisted the device again, and suddenly the air hummed with tension, the crowd shuffling nervously. "You see, this isn't a game you can win." Dr. Martinez raised his voice, his tone firm yet calm. "Let her go. Now. You're not in charge here." "It's cute how you think you're in control," he replied, irritation darkening his features. "But my employers have plans for this little affair. And you're either playing along or, well, let's just say that won't end well for anyone." Fury ignited in Linda's chest, and her mind raced. She had to act. "What do you want with the baby?" A gleam of interest sparked in his eyes, as if he enjoyed the commotion. "Ah, now you're curious. This baby, it's not just any baby. Let's say she possesses certain qualities that a lot of people would kill for." Shock rippled through Linda like a shockwave. "Qualities? What do you mean?" The man's lips curled into a sinister grin, but before he could elaborate, the air thickened, almost suffocating. An otherworldly tension settled as the crowd began to whisper, fear mounting like electric static, eyes darted anxiously, as if everyone understood they were standing on the edge of something dangerously uncontrollable. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from the entrance of the hospital, and every head turned in unison. A figure burst through the doors, breathless and wide-eyed. Emergency! We need help over here. The newcomer's panicked voice shattered the charged silence, and in that instant, Linda felt something shift in the atmosphere. All focus shifted, and the man's expression briefly faltered, the confidence cracking like ice melting under sudden heat. Enough of this! He barked, shifting his gaze back to Linda, a sense of urgency blending with his menace. You've meddled enough. You'll regret this. Linda's heart raced as she saw the dark figure retreat into the shadows, uncertainty radiating off him. But the chaos had only just begun, and she felt on the brink of a revelation that could lead to disaster. What was the truth lurking behind this twisted plot? And what would she do if the baby's fate hung in the balance, tethered to a desperate mother and a man whose desire for control was palpable? With bated breath, Linda prepared herself to confront whatever truth awaited her, feeling the shadows shift ominously around them all. Linda felt the weight of the man's gaze pinning her in place. The crowd, caught in a web of terror, held their breaths, eyes flicking from her to the ominous device and Dr. Martinez, whose protective stance seemed increasingly futile. Look around you, the man said, his voice low and dripping with menace as he gestured dismissively. These people are nothing but pawns in a game. What's about to unfold, this is the real show. The doctor shifted slightly, drawing his shoulders back, a small sign of defiance. You're underestimating them, and you're underestimating me. We won't let you take that child. Is that so? The man laughed again, a sound hollow and dark, echoing through the chaos. Then let us make this interesting. He lifted the device higher, the lights now flashing rapidly, casting eerie shadows across the frightened faces. Get down! An officer shouted unexpectedly, grabbing a child and pushing them behind a nearby bench as the man's finger hovered over a button. The tension in the air seemed to snap like a rubber band stretched too far. The man paused, a flicker of surprise crossing his face, but just as quickly it morphed back into a smile, one that didn't reach his cold eyes. Such a noble effort. But it won't matter. As if on cue, another loud bang reverberated through the hall, this time louder, shaking the very walls. Panic erupted. People screamed, rushing toward exits, faces plastered with horror. Linda felt her heart hammering painfully in her chest. Stay where you are. Dr. Martinez shouted, but his words were swallowed by the cacophony of chaos. Your little rescue efforts are in vain, the man drawled, his focus shifting towards the panic-stricken crowd. No one can help you now. It's merely a countdown. He twisted the device once again, the lights flashing with an almost hypnotic rhythm, intensifying the fear. What countdown? Linda blurted, desperate to regain control of the fraying situation. His eyes met hers, and she sensed his amusement, a hungry predator reveling in the fear of her and those around her. The countdown to revelations, he responded with a chilling calmness. In mere moments, everything you thought you knew will be thrown into chaos. The truth is a powerful thing, my dear. And when it comes out. Linda swallowed hard, her throat tightening with dread. She felt a wave of nausea wash over her. What truth? What was about to unravel? As the frantic sounds grew louder, a shadow moved in the corner of her vision. It caught her attention, shifting among the panicked crowd. A woman, nearly colliding with a security guard as she ran toward them, her face stained with tears, desperation etched across her features. Where is the baby? She gasped, her voice carried by the whirlwind of noise. The man's expression changed for a moment, something akin to recognition flashing across his face. He turned sharply, eyes narrowing at the newcomer. Ah, but here comes the true player, he sneered. Just in time for the show. Linda's stomach dropped. The woman's frantic energy was too familiar. It's the mother. She realized, stepping closer, unable to shake the feeling of impending doom. Get her out of here. Dr. Martinez yelled, moving toward the approaching figure, but the man raised the device high. No. The game must go on. Everything seemed to pause, and in that moment of silence, Linda's heart raced with a clarity she hadn't anticipated. She had to act. The baby's life hung in the balance, and the stakes of the twisted plot woven by this man could shatter all their worlds. Swallowing back fear, she turned to the nurse. We need a plan. Now. But before she could strategize, the air suddenly crackled around them, tension palpable as the man's finger hovered over the device. Let us see who's really ready to play, he mocked, and the atmosphere thickened, poised on the brink of calamity. Would they find a way to save the baby, or were they already too late? As the device clicked ominously, Linda understood time was running out, and the revelation would come whether they were prepared or not. Linda's heart thundered in her chest, drowning out the frantic cries swirling around her. She squared her shoulders, locking eyes with the man. His smile twisted, and every ounce of her being screamed that this was a moment that would define them all. Stop! She shouted, though her voice trembled. You don't have to do this. He tilted his head, a predator savoring its prey. Oh, but I do. This is far too entertaining to halt now. Entertaining? She echoed, her voice rising above the din. You torturing innocence is entertainment to you? Yes, Linda. Reveling in the chaos is truly delightful. The truth can unravel everything, shattering illusions, breaking hearts. He flicked his gaze back to the mother, whose eyes were wide with desperation. You might want to take notes. Dr. Martinez took a step forward, breaking the spell of silence. You're a coward hiding behind a device. There are people in this room who won't let you get away with this. Linda glanced at him, inspired by his courage. She could see how much he believed in the power of those words, and for a fleeting moment, hope flickered inside her, but the man only laughed. You're all so blind. The truth doesn't care about your righteousness. It's coming whether you want it or not. With that, he punched a button and the lights on the device blazed to life, illuminating the room in a garish glow. It was almost hypnotic, and Linda felt her limbs grow heavy. She had to shake off this spell if they were going to save that child. The mother stumbled forward, panic pulsing from her every pore. Please. My baby. Her voice cracked like glass, filled with an agonizing lurch of hope and despair. You don't hurt her. I'll do anything. The man's expression morphed, and for a moment, Linda thought she saw a flicker of something unsettling. Was it pity? But it disappeared just as quickly. Oh, the baby won't be hurt, at least not physically. He waved the device nonchalantly, his eyes glinting with malice. But sometimes, the emotional wounds run far deeper than any physical ones. Linda's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Her voice barely broke through the commotion, but the man's gaze locked with hers, his smile razor-sharp. The truth I'm about to reveal is far worse than death, he said, relishing every word. You'll wish for any kind of agony rather than what lies ahead. Then, as if on cue, a loud crack echoed through the air. A gunshot? No. The lights flickered, and a hush swept through the crowd. Eyes widened, stricken with terror. Linda's pulse raced, she had never felt such a chilling weight of anticipation. Is that your big reveal? She asked, pushing through the rising fear. You think you can terrify us into submission? We'll fight for the truth. We won't go quietly. Ah, so brave, he replied, his tone dripping with mockery. But it's too late for saviors. My countdown has begun. A beeping noise erupted from the device, synchronized with a flashing red light. Linda felt her breath catch. What had he done? Time was slipping away, each second mocking their attempts to regain control. She caught sight of the nurse, whose eyes mirrored her own fear, and in that moment, a spark ignited. We need a distraction, something, anything. Linda shouted, her mind racing that a plan began to form, threading through the panic. They needed to create a diversion. If they could confuse him, maybe they could hinder the countdown. Just as she turned to strategize, thick smoke began to billow from the device, swirling through the room and blanketing everything in an ominous haze. The room erupted into chaos once again. People screamed, hands reached out, grasping blindly for escape. Linda's heart pounded as she felt the terrifying reality of suffocation. Suddenly, she noticed the woman, the baby's mother, get pulled along with the panicked crowd. No. Wait. Linda shouted, the urgency clawing at her throat. Then, the chaos intensified, crashing down around them. As the smoke thickened, one thought seared into Linda's mind: would they find the baby in time, or would this man's revelation seal their fate? Just as the confusion crescendoed, she felt a hand clasp her arm. Linda. Dr. Martinez called above the chaos. We need to stick together, but the space between them began to undulate, chaos splitting them apart. Linda's heart raced as the weight of uncertainty closed in like a vice. Could they evade whatever was about to unfold, or were they already too late to save the life that hung precariously on the brink? The darkness deepened, and the clock had begun its deadly tick. Linda's heart thundered in her chest as hazy darkness engulfed the corridor. Panic gripped her, the stench of smoke and screams blurred her vision. She fought to keep her bearings, desperate to focus on what mattered most: the baby. She had to find the mother and the infant before it was too late. Dr. Martinez. We can't lose sight of them. She yelled, forging ahead, her voice barely cutting through the chaos. Together, they plunged into the shifting shadows, eyes darting for signs among the throngs of panicked people, some falling to their knees, others clutching loved ones in terror. Linda felt a surge of dread. She hated this feeling of helplessness that threatened to swallow them whole. Suddenly, a figure stumbled toward them, a wild-eyed nurse, coughing through the thickening fumes. The emergency exits are blocked. We need to move. She gasped, her voice hoarse. Where's the baby? Linda pressed, her fervor kicking in like a primal instinct. Last I saw, the mother took her outside. The nurse shouted back, tears streaking down her ashen face. They were trying to get away. Linda's breath caught in her throat, horror ricocheting inside her as determination ignited a fire in her belly. We need to find them now. Follow me. Dr. Martinez barked with firm resolve, steering them through the maze of shouts and cries. In that moment, every second felt decisive, like the hands on a clock moving ever closer to zero. As they pushed through the fleeing crowd, they emerged into the bright light of the emergency exit. There, they caught a glimpse of a figure frantically waving. It was the mother. Stop! Linda urged, racing toward her, but the mother spun around, frantic. Where is she? You need to help me. Linda's heart twisted seeing the mother's face, a blend of fear and desperation. Where's the baby? She managed, grasping the urgency of the moment. They took her. They all know they. The mother's words trailed off, eyes scanning the parking lot as if searching for ghosts. Linda felt a jolt of anxiety course through her. Who took her? Dr. Martinez asked, lifting his chin as if expecting someone to emerge from the shadows. They said they'd come for her. They'll come back. The raw terror in the mother's voice sliced through Linda's heart, but while fear surged, something else flickered, a flicker of resolve. They won't find her. We're going to get her back. Linda exclaimed fiercely, clutching the mother's arm reassuringly. What can we do? The mother hesitated, a flicker of hope igniting in her hollow eyes. There's a place. A warehouse they will be. Before she could finish, the sound of a revving engine buzzed in the distance. Linda turned to see an ominous black van tearing down the lot, a sinister presence cutting through the haze. They're here. She shouted, urgency crackling in the air. Run! Dr. Martinez ordered, and without a second thought, the three of them sprinted back toward the hospital, adrenaline fueling their every step. Linda's chest tightened, determination mingling with sheer terror. Would they reach the baby in time? They ducked inside, moving swiftly through the chaotic halls, pushing through the smoke-stained entrance. Time was of the essence, every second heavy with urgency. They had to anticipate the next move, the next step in this dark game, whatever it was. "Let's check in the staff lounge," suggested Dr. Martinez, and they hurried down the corridor, skirting around panic-stricken staff and patients. The door creaked open, revealing a haven they hadn't expected. It was a small, dimly lit room, a makeshift sanctuary from the turmoil outside. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy, but there was also an air of certainty, a place for planning their next move. Linda moved quickly toward the phone, but before she could dial, the mother's phone buzzed in her pocket, a quiet but insistent sound. "Is that?" Linda began, but the mother nodded quickly, her eyes wide. "Maybe it's a clue." She fumbled through her bag, heart racing while hands trembled. She answered, breath hitching in her throat. "Hello? Get out now," came a deep voice, vibrating with a cold urgency. "They know you're at the hospital." The call cut before the mother could respond, the silence ringing painfully in the air. Linda felt something shift again, tension coiled around them like a crushing fog. "We can't stay here," Linda urged, her eyes darting, adrenaline racing. "We need to find that baby." With newfound determination, they sprinted back out through the chaos, plunging into the growing commotion. Outside, shadows danced among the darkness as the night began to swallow them whole. Where do we go?" the mother whispered, panic creeping into her voice. "We head for the docks," Dr. Martinez shouted, pointing into the distance. "They might have her there." Just then, the unmistakable sound of engines revving filled the air, headlights slicing through the dusk. Linda froze, heart pounding. There was no denying it now, danger was closer than ever. The mother's voice trembled, "They're here," she whispered, but Linda's heart surged with defiance. "We're not giving up. We fight," she declared, making a swift decision. As they moved into the shadows, preparing for the battle ahead, fury lit up Linda's spirit. They weren't just fighting for a baby, they were fighting for truth and justice. Escape plans flashed through her mind as they navigated toward the docks. They'd need that last ounce of courage and a strategy to face whatever lay ahead. They were no longer just players in this cruel game, they were the ones who would turn the tide. Kicking through fear like a wave crashing against the shore, the three raced forward. Love and hope ignited within them, promising they would face the darkness together no matter what awaited them at the end of this harrowing night. Finally, at the edge of the docks, they saw the flickering lights of the warehouse in the distance. "That's it. We find her," Linda shouted, already calculating their best approach. There was no turning back. As they moved closer, hearts pounding, they braced themselves. They would confront not just the threats in the shadows but also their own fears. They were unified now, ready to unmask the truth that lay hidden, a truth that held the power to heal or to destroy. This was it, the moment of reckoning would finally come. They would fight for the baby and for themselves, whatever the outcome. This was their last chance. They would emerge victorious, or not at all. As they approached the warehouse, the air crackled with an electric tension. Their fight for the truth was imminent, and they would take a stand against those who sought to tear them apart. Everything would soon change. But even as the darkness loomed, one thing was clear: love and resolve would always shine brighter than the shadows trying to swallow them whole. Now it was time to embrace the fight and face the truth. Hey, to keep up with the thrilling conclusion of these riveting stories, don't wait even one more second to subscribe immediately to the channel. Trust me, you need to subscribe now so you won't miss the next exclusive tales. And smash that like button now. That helps gains for the algorithm in a big way. Your support is the key to bringing you more amazing content. Flood the comments section with all your reactions and theories about this wild ending. I want to hear from you. Finally, don't forget to instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who absolutely need to see this conclusion. Your help spreads our community, and only true fans understand how vital your support is. Let us do this together.